and welcome everyone. This is round 5 of the first season of 2023. It is the Monday night PC League for Race on Oz. Hope you've all had a good Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. We are about to get things underway here at Snetterton, and the thumbnail is wet. So is the track right now. It's a real ice skating rink out there the drivers are dealing with currently, so we'll see if the rain does persist through to qualifying or if it gets a bit of a reset. But before we do that, let's quickly catch up on championship standings and a little bit of housekeeping. So the overall championship right now is being led by Andrew Lawrenson, so 271 points. He currently sits in P1. Took victory last week at Monza, which was our round 4. Back to the sprint race after having a week off, a little break there. It was a great battle. It was a three-way battle between Lawrenson, Gallo and Cale. Cale was able to come out in P2 and Bruno Gallo there ended in P3. A little bit of controversy there at the end. They did make contact, Gallo and Cale. Plenty of people have given their 2 cents throughout the week, so I don't think I need to comment on that any further. So Cale's second, 256, 241. Gallo, you got Terry Rayton having a really good season at the moment. It was his worst finish of the season though last week, but he's a very solid 4th position right now. Anthony Cesana there in P5. James Pierre Reid, he had a very well earned, he had a quiet achiever 4th last week, so he's sitting there in 6th. Nando Latenzio 7th. Matt Frost in 8th. Then you got Stimson, who was a DNF last week. And Neil Fakeney in the top 10. A great result for him last week in P5. So shout out there to Neil Fakeney. Let's have a look now at the silver drivers. So Cesana leading that championship, 124 points, 5 points clear of Nando Latenzio and the man we just spoke about, Neil Fakeney, in P3. He actually took out the class win last week. Nando Latenzio was 2nd there, and 3rd was Anthony Cesana. So the top 3 were in reverse order last week. Peter Wall there sitting in 4th, then Hildebrandt. Wilson was a DNF last week. That's his 2nd of the season. Wally Masterson, Matthew Marsh, Haycock, and Dominiak there, rounding out the top 10. Let's have a quick look at the AM standings. You've got James Mack sitting there on top, 132 points, 13 points clear of Herbertron. James Mack took out the class victory last week. Mark Hurley was there in P2 and Harley Scotland was the podium final getter there in P3. He's sitting 4th in the championship, 57 points. Quite a ways behind the top 3 there. So it's a 3-way battle for the AM at the moment. Andrew Green, Dominic Johnston, Dylan Powell and Chris Brooker. In terms of what the teams look like, you've got Beyond Trophies Racing sitting atop of the table, 691 points. They're 46 points clear of Bruce Hull Racing sitting in P2. Gamesman Racing Team in P3, they're 598 points. They're only 24 points ahead of Selby Acoustics, who are sitting in 4th. So the 3rd and 4th are still up for battle right there. We're about halfway through the season tonight, so plenty left to go in this season to see the final standings evolve. Ignition Controls Racing in 5th, and Pagnian Next Level bringing up the rear in 6th position. I got all of the standings right this week. I'm pretty proud of that. So good stuff. We're going well so far. And then the track, it brings us to the track. So it's Snetterton, one of my personal favourites, just all the famous turn names that you have through here as well, especially Bombhole at turn 10. You got Palmer, Oggies is another good one. Montreal, named after the Montreal hairpin in Canada at the Circuit des Gilles Villeneuve. Distance 4.79 kilometres, 12 turns. And tonight it's going to be a handful because free practice is done. And right now, sitting atop of the table is Andrew Lawrenson. So he's been the shining light in the wet. So he's top of the timesheets with a 1:54.132. So great time for him. We'll see if it's still wet, if that's able to hold up in qualifying, which is about to get underway very, very shortly. It's counting down. The rain is still falling. Just also a little bit of housekeeping as well. John Stockton, apologies for your livery tonight. I don't know what's happened. I can see it in my showroom, but I can't see it on the in the lobby, unfortunately. So I do apologise for that. And we've got a new driver as well, P. Huddy, who I also don't have a livery for. So my apologies for those two. Fingers crossed I can get them all sorted for next week. So yeah, not too sure what's happening with John Stockton, but that's pretty much where practice is at the moment. We're just waiting for the countdown clock. I think we've got a couple of drivers still out there. Anthony Cesana just finishing his lap, and this gives you an idea of the conditions that they're facing. The track is fully wet. Been watching plenty of practice, and it has been a real handful out there for these guys. So it's going to prove to be quite the challenge. I think they'll be happy that it's only going to be 60 minutes and we're not doing a 2-hour enduro around here. That would be a little bit too much to bear. There we go. All right, so qualifying is about to begin as the cars make their way out on track. Just trying to set things up. There's Matt Frost leading the pack away, so they're all eager to get out there. Track is fully wet. Air temperature 25, track 29. In terms of the weather settings for this evening, it was ambient at 23, cloud at 0.2, and rain at 0.3. Weather randomness was set to 4, so gives you a bit of an idea of the settings as all the cars making their way out onto the circuit. No Bruno Gallo tonight, so one of our championship contenders is not racing this evening. Thought the Porsche might have gone all right around here. Ethan Cale, one of the other championship protagonists, out there as well. Dominiac from Blue Sail Racing in the Honda. Hello to everyone watching as well. Heather Russell up there, up right at the front. Nice to hear from you again, Heather. Hopefully Paul can go well this evening. The Tanzio, they're part of the silver class, so nice mix of drivers this evening. All the cars out on track at the moment. Paul Russell, one of the final ones to make it out. So Cooley's still in there at the moment. Hopefully he can get out there, and if he does, he can actually get away this time off the start line. But let's have a look at Matt Frost. He's going to be the first driver to set a time lapse. So fastest time in free practice was a 1:54.132. Let's see what Matt Frost has got in that 666 Ferrari. Just making his way through Murray's now. And he will begin the first timed lap of the session, 15-minute qualifying. So it's all over and done with pretty quick. As he comes up to turn 2, this is Montreal. As mentioned, named after the Montreal hairpin. The left-hander of Palmer. Nice and easy, second gear. Run a little bit wide on the exit. Then you come up to turn 4, sorry. This is Agostini. Sharp left-hander. And then it's a short run into another left-hander. This is Hamilton, named after Sir Lewis Hamilton. Then you come into the right-hander of Oggies. Just the back end just slipping out a little bit. Then you got the right-hander of Williams, named after Frank Williams. And up the Bentley Straight, obviously named after a very famous British motoring brand. And then this set of corners here, watch this, as he comes under the bridge. Just through Brundle. And then Nelson, the right hander, got to beware of those sausage curbs. And through one of the best named corners in all of motorsport, Bomb Hole. Coming through now. And then coming to Murray's here, the left-hander, the sharp left-hander. Avoids the sausage curb. Nice tidy lap from him so far. He will come across the line. See what sort of time he sets as the rest of the field will start to filter through. 55.3, not too bad. What's Andrew Lawrenson got? Championship leader at the moment. He goes straight to the top of the timesheet. About Ethan Cale, he's second in the championship. 54.2 is the best time so far. As Cale goes into P2 straight away. This is Matthew Marsh for Beyond Trophies Racing. He'll head towards the line in the Laundry House livery. Goes up into P9 for now. This is James Mack, moves into P14. This is Green, we'll get back to him in a moment. Here's Paul Russell. So just coming through Corman. Comes through Murray's now. And where does he come out? So the time they're chasing a 54.7. He goes into P2, so that Audi dealing with the wet conditions with no dramas at all. This is Andrew Green, one of the AM drivers. Coming through the final turn. 54.7. Herbertron's the highest AM driver right now, sitting in P17 outright. And Green goes into P22. Haycock coming towards the end of his lap. Already a third of the way through. It's Lawrenson from Russell, Cale, Frost, Stimson, Rayton, Cezanne, Fakeney, Reed and Van Vliet. It's your top 10 right now. Good field. Had another healthy field tonight. 27 cars in total. What has Stephen Haycock got right now? He's up on his best time. He goes up into P9. That's a pretty healthy time from him. To Matthew Marsh. Track's still wet. Rain is scheduled to persist. Matthew Marsh up. He's almost a second up. He's lost a whole chunk of time there through Murray. Still half a second up on his best time. Currently in P14. Moves up into P12. So nice result from him there. Wally Masterson doesn't look like he's going to beat his best time. P. Huddy though this is a driver on debut, P17. So nice result for him. Here's Paul Russell, currently sitting in P3, 54.7. Doesn't quite improve on his time as it sits here, so he remains in P3 for now. James Pierre Reid. Ooh, a little bit of drifting there. Car number 31 for Selby Acoustics. Just heading down towards Brundle. Got his livery all sorted this week as well. Just that little bit of extra detail in there. So he makes his way through Nelson now. The car looks like it's a bit of a handful in the wet right here. Music Racer Paulie and that Audi definitely getting gelling nicely, yes. Yeah, Music Racer. I did see you participated in the 10 hour of Imola and you're not a fan of the wet, so I can definitely empathise with you sitting this one out. As James Pierre Reid will improve on his time. He's in P6 for now. Lawrenson just abandoning that lap there. Who else? This is Nathan Wilson, 2/10 up on his best time. That'd be enough to move him up the grid a couple of spots. It moves him up one into P14. Carlos Dominiak in the Honda for Bruce Hull Racing. Currently sitting P20. He's 7/10 up on his best time, so he's flying at the moment. We'll move him up to about P16 roughly. Give or take a spot. There he goes. Beautiful. Good stuff. Who else is there? Paul Russell. He's 2/10 up on his best time. That'd have been good enough to really challenge for pole position here. So he's just come out of Murray's. Let's see. Oh, he lost a whole chunk of time coming out of there. So doesn't improve. But he was on pace there to take P1 for a second or two there. So here's Matt Frost. He's currently sitting P5. We're almost 2/3 of the way through qualifying to set the grid for round number 5. Matt Frost, he's just abandoned that lap. See if I can grab someone on a quick one right now. James Mack, one of our AM drivers, down in P24 right now in the Audi. Making his way through Brundle and Nelson. He's almost a second up on his time. Try and catch the guys at the front as well. So Lawrenson in P1, Rayton in second. Third is Russell, Latenzio there in fourth. Frost, Cale, Reed, Stimson, Cooley, Van Vliet. They're riding with James Mack right now. Ethan Cale will set a time, and he goes to the top of the times, in fact. So just caught that at the last second. So we've got a new front runner right now, Neil Fakeney. He improves. He goes up into P10. Time starting to tick by now. 4.5 minutes left. So not long now for these drivers to get their position set. This is P. Huddy. He's Paul Huddy, sorry. I like the surname Huddy. That's cool. Here we go. So he's 23rd, 1.2 seconds up. And he goes up 10 spots into P13. So that's looking a lot healthier than it was. This is Ethan Cale. This is our pole sitter right now. 154.487. So not quite at the pace that we saw in practice from Lawrenson. He did a 54.132. He's 2.5 up, 3-4, almost half a second up on his best time right now. Cale just modulating up and down slowly. Tick over 3.5 minutes left. Music racer. I copped the stint where it's absolutely pouring down and there's just dreadful conditions. Yeah, you would not want to be spending too much time in the wet around Imola. And Cale improves a 54.487. Lawrenson is out there right now. He's 2.5 up on his best time, flashing his lights, coming through. Fast driver. I think that was, I'm not too sure. I don't want to take a guess. Just doing their best to get out of the way there. Cale going again, so it looks like it's just filled up with fuel. Do as many laps as you can in the 15 minutes, trying to get the power down that back end, just wanting to step out. Andrew Lawrenson working hard to keep that 88 BMW facing the right way. Comes to the line, and no, he's not coming to the line, sorry. No, he's coming to Brundle through Nelson. The track map that I've got here is a little bit different to the one on the screen. Here he goes into Murray's now, named after the famous Murray Walker. And here he goes, he's 2.5 up on his best time. Even if he does improve, and he does, it's not going to be good enough to take away P1. So just a tick over 2 minutes. Here's Cooley. He goes up into P5. Good result for him. Van Vliet doesn't improve on his time. I wanted to get to this man here, Terry Rayton, having a very good season so far. 8th last week, currently sitting P3 right now, 54.765. Ethan Cale in the pit, so our pole sitter might have just been content with what he's got and happy to watch the rest unfold the last minute and a half. Terry Rayton just flirting with being up, and that's not going to help him there at all. Who else? Mark Hurley. Down a little bit lower in the field. He's P24. He's top 3 in the AM class right now, though. He's just coming through bomb hole. Long left-hander. Feel like an eternity in these conditions. Fully wet, full wet track, not damp, not a sprinkling of rain. It's been raining for quite some time as well. See what Hurley can do if he can improve on his time, improve his position. He does, into P23. Terry Rayton, he's 4/10 down on his best time, so he's not going to improve. Andrew Lawrenson, in the last 30 seconds, he's 2.5 tenths up right now. If he can maintain that, he might just be able to squeeze pole position here. It's going to be touch and go, and he doesn't quite do it, so just misses out. He'll have time to go one more lap here. What about Cooley? He's in P4 for now. Neil Fakeney out there. Van Vliet, he improves to P10. Clock has gone 000 now as well. So drivers that are out there, we can catch them in their order now. This will be a little bit easier. This is Paul Russell. He's currently P5. He's half a second down on his best time, so that is where he will start for now. Matt Frost, he's in P7. He's about 4/10 down on his best time as well. So he is not looking like he's going to improve his position. Lawrenson is out there, but he's not quite up yet. He's flicking between red and green for now. Where's he coming through? He's just coming through the right-hander of Williams. So he's got a while to go still. We'll catch Fernando Latenzio. So he's top of silver class right now. Currently sitting P6 outright, half a second up on his best time. That would move him up onto the second row if he could pull that off. So we'll stick with him now. He comes through Murray's. 3/10 up. He did lose a little bit of time there. And does he improve position? He does. He goes into P3. So a late surge from silver driver Nando Latenzio. He's got him up there in P4. Terry Rayton there is in P3. So he just snatches that away. Lawrenson's not going to improve. So it's going to be Ethan Cale who will take out the pole position. Congratulations to him, E. Cale, with a 1:54.137. It was 5/1000ths of a second slower than the practice time of Andrew Lawrenson. So definitely has the pace. But Ethan Cale, congratulations. He is our round 5 pole sitter. Andrew Lawrenson there sitting in P2. Terry Rayton, P3. Nando Latenzio, highest of the silver drivers, P4. Cooley, Russell, Frost, Reed, Stimpson, Van Vliet. That's your top 10. In terms of silver, Latenzio,
watch out for curves and exit, and remember to brake early.
Latenzio, Fakeney, Cesana, and it's silver from 11th down to 20th. Highest of the AM drivers is James Mack, so he's going to start 21st outright. Hurley and Atron were the other two there in the top 3, Green and Powell. So we've got about 3 minutes. We'll take a quick little 2-minute break, and we'll be back to get set for round 5 of Race on Oz PC Monday Night League. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, we are back, and we've got a minute before the warm-up lap begins. Track is at wet still, so I can hear the rain, but can I see it? Yeah, it is slowly falling as well, so sometimes you can hear it. It stops before you can hear it stop, but yeah, still coming down right now. But that is what the grid looks like. 30 seconds before this one gets started. You can see all the drivers getting themselves set. Matt Frost turns on his headlights. Rest of the field slowly doing the same as well. And we are about 10 seconds away from getting the warm-up lap started. This is round number 5. We're at Snetterton this week. Next week we're going to be at Nürburgring next week. That'll be fun. 2-hour enduro. Hope the weather's not like this. Hopefully we get some dry conditions and cars pulling away. So it's Ethan Cale currently sitting second in the championship right now. He's 15 points behind Andrew Lawrenson. Lawrenson's won 3 of the 4 races. Cale has managed to win 1, finish on the podium the other 3 times. So second last week and 2 thirds in round 1 and round 2. So maybe looking to keep this man behind him in the rear view mirror. Andrew Lawrenson, reigning defending champion, currently championship leader. Terry Rayton, as I mentioned, having a very good season, just quietly going about his business. We started the race from P4. Nando Latenzio, you never know what you're going to get with Nando. He's a bit. Sometimes he's right up there, and then sometimes he has a bit of bad luck, and then he's usually relatively consistent. And I do say that in the kindest way as well. Music Racer, no Gallo. Yeah, I've not seen him tonight, so not too sure where Bruno is, but not racing this evening. Here's Chris Cooley. Good work, Chris. Yeah, made it off the grid. Well done. He's not going to start from the pit lane. Good work to him. Paul Russell in 6th in that beautiful liveried Audi of his, the Buzz and Hornets. That was Nathan Wilson, who is the artiste for that. Matt Frost, once again, a very consistent performer. James Reed had a very quiet, under-the-radar race last week. Came home in 4th position, I think. Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was a surprise. I was like, I've not seen him all night. So, great work from him. Van Vliet in 10th position. Neil Fakeney, P2 in the silver class right now in the Lamborghini. He's got his mate in a fellow Lamborghini. Anthony Cesana there for company in P12. Paul Huddy on debut this evening. He'll begin the race in P13. You've got Haycock in the Nissan doing quite well this evening in P14. Nice work from him. Matthew Marsh is going to start this one from 15th. Nathan Harvey in another BMW. He'll be beginning the race from 16th. Here's Nathan Wilson, 17th in the 331 Lamborghini. John Stockton starting 18th, 19th, Hildebrand, Dominiak, Mack in there as well. So highest of the AM drivers. Mark Hurley is P2 of the AM. Herbertron, and that beautifully turned out. Gave him racing team McLaren. Andrew Green, he's in 25th. 26th is Dylan Powell. And 27th is Simeon Coco for Beyond Trophies Racing. But it was this man here at the head of the field, Ethan Cale, as they all line up side by side, getting ready to kick this one off. Round 5 of the PC season. Cale, Lawrenson ready to resume battle. Rest of the field a little bit untidy there, not all quite side by side, but there it is. Looks like Cale got a nice start there, got the jump on Lawrenson as they all filter down into turn 1. Oh, Lawrenson! There's a little bit of... oh man, it's carnage right now. Look at this. Oh wow. and there are cars everywhere, and that was all kicked off from Lawrenson. Had a little bit of contact. Let's watch the replay here. So they go, and then, I don't know if you saw him there, and bang, 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 bang. Wow, Lawrenson got hit again, almost again. A lot of nose to tail stuff there, as the field are going to have to sort themselves out all over again. And that was chaos at turn 1. The trusted drivers panel have made a point that they will investigate all incidents on turn 1, on lap 1, automatically, and I dare say they're going to have their work cut out for them this week around. But Ethan Cale has managed to escape the chaos behind him. He's a mile out in front. He's already got a 3-second gap on Terry Rayton as they're all filing around through turn 7 through Williams, heading up the back straight for the first time. Glenn Stimson, what happened to you, Glenn Stimson? He's stuck at, that's turn 1, I think, Riches. So not too sure what's happened to him. They're all filing through Brundle for the first time. Stimson's still stranded there. Not too sure if that's some sort of technical issue. And I wonder if we're going to see quite the flurry of activity into the pits. We're watching Van Vliet in 6th. He's got James Pierre-Reid for company in P7. Looks like after that they've all managed to get going again at the same time. That was chaos at the beginning. I like the number on the side there, Van Vliet. And they're all filing across, so Cale was way out in front. Rayton, Russell, Huddy. Oh, look at Huddy on debut up there in P4. Nice work, Paul Huddy. A little bit of luck getting through there, but that's what you need to go your way. Reed, Harvey, Susanna, Frost. Did anyone go into the pits? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it was massive contact. It was mainly sort of nose to tail action, which generally isn't too detrimental to the performance of your car. So might be a few drivers out there with non-optimal handling cars, but good enough to stay out. In terms of the race format tonight, it's a mandatory fuel stop and a 44-minute pit window, so that's all it is this evening. I'm just trying to filter through and just see where the action is. This is Matt Frost. He's chasing down Susanna in P9, but the gap out in front, it's already 2.5 seconds. And where did Lawrenson end up? He's all the way back down here in 23rd position, so he's dropped all the way down, almost to the very back of the field. Cooley was one of the other big losers out of that, unfortunate for him. So he manages to finally make the start. He's dropped 17 spots. Lawrenson's dropped 21. Huddy's been the biggest gainer out of all of that. He's up 10 spots on debut. So talk about, we had St. Patrick's Day last week, and talk about luck of the Irish. I don't know if he is Irish. I'm just making basic assumptions. Where was that? That was some other action going on through there as well. Hildebrand all over the back of Atron. This is down in 20th and 21st. So it's going to be very interesting. Ooh, he's got the bonnet flapping about a little bit. That's never a good sign. So he might have an ill-handling car right now. He's got, here's Powell. Oh, that's Wilson in there as well. So he was involved in a big accident last week as well, Nathan Wilson. I think it was Terry Rayton out of Ascari. I think the car turned off and Wilson had nowhere to go. Let's see what's happened this time around. So once again, a bit of nose to tail action, and then that is very, very unlucky indeed. Will not be particularly happy about that. He's already had 2 DNFs this season. Pretty sure he doesn't want to make it 3. Back to Frost again. He's looking to put a move down the inside of Susanna. They make a little bit of contact there. Nothing too much. They're going to settle back into it as they go through Brundle now, the right-hander of Nelson. And looks like Latenzio manages to get the job done on Rayton. So Rayton must have had a little moment. Let's see if we can go to the replay and have a look. And looks like I'm a little bit too slow on the draw, maybe. Oh, yeah, there's Huddy just running a little bit deep, and Rayton just slipping through as well as Latanzio. Does he finish it off? Yeah, he does. So Rayton, P4. Nando Latanzio up there in P3, the silver driver, putting on a cracking effort so far to begin this one. 60-minute sprint race, so not a lot of time. And time is not going to be on the side of Cooley and Lawrenson. Cooley makes up one spot. He gets past Simeon Coco. Lawrenson looking to do the same. Frost. Oh, no. What happened, Matt Frost? The 666 Ferrari for Bruce Hull Racing. Where are we? Cameraman's giving me a little bit of motion sickness there. Oh, he just got on the grass and speared him right off there. That's a decent hit into the barriers as well. So that's Matt Frost. He's dropped all the way down into P18. So we go back to live pitches. Oh, and as we do, he's had a big spin. Styrofoam braking marker goes everywhere. And I think that's that's into turn 1 as well. So not a good 30 seconds there for Matt Frost. He's going to drop further back as well. He's down in 24th right now, and that is not where he would want to be at this stage of the race. Tanzio is still up there as well, just trying to catch all of the action that's going on. Keeping an eye on Lawrenson and Cooley as well as they're making their way from the rear of the field. Cooley 19th, Lawrenson P20 at the moment, so keep an eye on those two as they make their progress up through the field. But in the opening minutes of this one, it's Ethan Cale. He's sitting P1 right now. So leader of the pack, he was able to avoid all the issues at the beginning of the race. And he's sitting comfortably P1. Paul Russell having a good run. He's sitting there in P2. Sorry, pardon me, P2. Then Terry Rayton in 3rd. James Pierre Reid, he's just tucked in behind Marcus Van Vliet. So they're in 6th and 7th respectively here. Just about to come through bomb hole there. So they're duking it out, the two Mercedes. Gamesman Racing Team versus Selby Acoustics. So a nice little battle between these two. Just to give you an idea of pace, a 54.947 was the last lap set by Ethan Cale.
The pit is now open.
And there we go, pit window's now open. 44-minute pit window, mandatory fuel this evening, and that is it. Dominiak, he's going side by side here with James Mack into turn 1. Oh, 93, that's Powell. That's at Nelson. Oh, we've got all sorts of battles going on right here. This is Wilson on Coco. Wilson moves up into P20, that Lamborghini. And Cooley manages to get past Hildebrand as well, so he's worked his way up into P18. And Lawrenson is in the pit, so as soon as the pit window opened, he took advantage of it. And he's in there for the early pit stop to try and get out of all the traffic. And he's going to try and slowly work his way back up through the field. In the meantime, we're watching Hildebrand. He's chasing down Huddy. And he's got Pierre Reid behind him, a fellow Mercedes driver for company. So this is 5th, 6th and 7th right now. The gap out in front, 4.3 seconds between Cale and Russell. Last lap around, Cale did a 54.9, Russell did a 56 flat. So wait until we get a few more times to come through. We'll sort of see what sort of rhythm they're in. In the meantime, though, we'll keep an eye on this battle that's starting to form. Paul Russell getting some encouragement from his sister in the chat there, telling him to hang in. As we can hear Van Vliet just going down through the gears as Pierre Reid got a really good run out of there, out of the final turn. Drag race into turn 1, window wipers going frantically, rain continuing to pour down. Doesn't look like it's going to be stopping anytime soon. So it came right at the end of the race last week, and here it's been since practice. So not ideal conditions for these drivers. I'm sure they'll be very, very challenged this evening. This could be a bit of a race of attrition. Terry Rayton, he's in the pits as well. So he pitted from P4. He's decided to make his stop nice and early. John Stockton got the move done on Matthew Marsh as well. We'll see if we can just have a quick look at how that all came about. Oh, he's come from a long way back, Terry Rayton. Oh, I bet it's because Matthew Marsh has gone on the brakes. That was at turn 2, which is Montreal. And we'll go back to live pictures right now. This is where they stand. And we'll continue to monitor this progress here between Huddy, Reed and Van Vliet. Huddy doing a good job of holding himself in P4 there. Silver driver, last lap of 56 flat. 56.9 to Reed and a 56.5 to Van Vliet. So he was the fastest of the trio, but unfortunate for him, he's at the rear of this little group here. Might be the reason why he was the fastest of all of them. This is Haycock with the flapping bonnet. He's trying to go down the inside here. Oh, and he ends up going around and facing the wrong way at the moment. That's not the way you want to be facing. And he manages to get it going again. So Hildebrandt sneaking through there. What about Mark Hurley? Oh dear, how did he get there? Let's find out. We just got on the grass there. Oh, bang, momentum's carried him into the fence. That's popped the bonnet, and that is usually signs of pretty big damage. Almost like he hit an imaginary tree there as well, so not too sure what happened there. As we go back to live pictures again, Cooley, he's going down the inside of Masterson. So he's worked himself up into P16 after dropping all the way down to the rear of the field. On the opening turn there, Marsh gets Stockton back there as well, so he's able to retake that position. And this is Cooley and Masterson is still duking it out. Ooh, back to this battle here, Van Vliet. It's super close. We need the split screen. We need 2 screens. We've got that much action going on. Still 24 cars in the lobby right now. Andrew Lawrenson. Oh no, this is not what we usually see from him. And who's that? That's the McLaren coming through. Let's see how that came about. I think this was just out of Murray's, the final turn. Oh, looks like that back end just got away from him. He'd only just pitted as well, so. And that was Powell coming through. Made a little bit more contact, but nothing in it there. And this is back to live pitches. Lawrenson sending it up the inside at Montreal. To take P23, that is definitely not something I would have thought I'd be saying at the start of this evening. Here we go. This is Huddy, Reed, Van Vliet as well. It's a 3-way battle going up the front straight. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. James Pierre Reed, to be a brave man to go around the outside there. He was a little bit later on the brakes. Huddy just pulling it up nicely. Van Vliet trying to get a good run out of there. He's going to try and challenge up the inside into Montreal, and he does. So nice work from him. He takes a spot, so Huddy drops down from 4th into 6th. Still a great job on debut. Paul Huddy doing well in the Audi for now, representing Pagny and Next Level this evening. Doing a great job. And James Pierre Reed is back in P4, is where he finished last week. And Huddy, I'm sure, will try and come back on Van Vliet. In the meantime, get back to Cooley. As we go on board with him. Oh, what happened, Coco? Oh, that's not good. That is not where you want to be. And where is that? I think that's out of turn 1. Yeah, it is. So he's coming up the front start-finish line. And we just got a little... No, it wasn't through there. I was on the exit. Yeah, right. And then he's giving that a fair whack as the bonnet popped up. Not quite. So as we go back to live pictures, this is Masterson and Green. So Cooley will just be trying to pick up any of the scraps that might fall his way. Oh, they're going to go... Oh, I thought they were almost going to go 3 wide there into the left-hander of Brundle. Filtering through now. And so Masterson able to hold his position. One of the silver drivers. Oh, and as I say that, here comes Cooley charging through as well. Get the feeling this is not quite over yet. Still wet conditions, track still at full wet. Rain continues to fall. Don't see any respite in it in any near future. Stick with this one as we go on board with Masterson. Going into turn 1, the right-hander. Looks like Green ran a little bit wide there. There's Cooley up the inside. Where is he? There he was. He was right in the blind spot. And he gets through. So nice work from Cooley. Takes another position. Our championship leader, he's currently sitting in P22 right now, so just trying to keep a little bit of an eye on him. Ethan Cale out in front. As we get on Cooley. He makes the nice run. That was into Agostini. And he'll continue on, so he takes another spot there as well. James Mack was able to get through on Carlos Dominiak too, so James Mack moves himself up into P12. He's the leader of the AM class, and Andrew Green is currently sitting in P2 for AM, and Herbertron there in P3, 19th outright for AM. Nando Latenzio is leading the way for silver class. Paul Huddy on debut, and Nathan Harvey putting in quite the effort. He's on the podium right now for silver class. Still a long way to go in this one, 42 and a half minutes. So plenty of time left in this sprint race. It's Ethan Cale. Last lap around, he did a 56.690. Paul Russell did a 55.930, so that's something to keep an eye on there. Latenzio was 0.4 faster as well than Russell, and the gap between Cale and Russell right now sits at 1.7 seconds. So there's been plenty of action to keep us occupied throughout the field, but looks like the battle at the front might just start to be warming up a little bit. James Pierre Reid on that last lap around did a 55.6, so that was faster than both Cale and Russell. Cale was a second slower than the people chasing him, which doesn't bode well for him. Might bode well for us though. We might get some action at the front. Dominiak, he's putting the pressure on James Mack as they make their way through Palmer. Turn 3, Palmer. And I feel like now we're almost at the third race distance. Race is just starting to settle down a little bit. Have a look at these two. Paul Huddy would be saying, I don't think the race is settling down for me right now. I've got Nathan Harvey all over the back wing of my Audi right here. Top 10 position for both of these guys, and the podium for silver class is on the line here. That's Anthony Cesana, fellow silver driver, just lurking in the background. Fellow Lamborghini driver of Neil Fakeney in there as well. So these guys will be hoping that they can just latch on to the back of these two, turn a duo into a quartet, foursome, whatever you want to call it. Oh, James Mack. Oh, not James Mack, Huddy, and he's lost 2 spots there. So that's brought a couple of drivers undone already, Andrew Lawrenson being one of them. So no shame in losing a couple of spots through there. Tricky left-hander, Murray's, and now Huddy's going to come under instant attack from Neil Fakeney, and he loses another spot. So down there in P9, and he's got Marsh a little bit further along, fighting back there. Fakeney's going to have the inside line here. Huddy will have to get a good drive. And no, can't quite do it. So He'll settle there in P9. And we'll try and keep Marsh behind him from now on. We might slip over to Dominiak. He's chasing down James Mack. And he's got Cooley right behind him there. This is 13th, 14th. James Mack in 12th, leader of the AM class. As Cooley closing in. Just trying to get a good look of it there. But a third race distance. It's Kale leading from Russell. Latenzio, Reed, Van Vliet, Harvey, Susanna, Fakeney, Huddy, and Marsh. Andrew Lawrenson down there in P22. Terry Rayton, after pitting early, he's there in 20th as well. Nathan Wilson looks like he's just gotten the better of Wally Masterson. They come onto the front straight. No, not on the front straight, on the back straight, Bentley straight, in fact. So he's taken a position up there in 16th. And looks like Cooley has managed to get past Dominiak as well. So plenty of action happening. Ethan Kale last lap around a 55.8 compared to Russell 56.5. So that gap is spread out again to 3.5 seconds between the two. As we switch over to Fakeney and Susanna in 7th and 8th. This is the battle of the Lamborghinis. We've got Nathan Harvey just up the road there as well in that purple and gold BMW. Cooley is about to put a move on Mack at Montreal, and he does. Nice move by him. He winds up that big V8 in the Aston Martin. He goes up into P12. So he continues his charge up the field. But we'll get back to Susanna, Fakeney and Huddy. 7th, 8th and 9th. 55.842 was Ethan Kale's last lap. As the gap has continued to grow there. It's at 4 seconds now between he and Russell. Russell was about 7/10 slower on that previous lap. Latenzio's got pace though. He started to make up ground on Russell. He's only a second behind. As we're watching Susanna and Harvey. Harvey P6, 7th is Susanna. So they go through Nelson. And Latenzio, less than a second the gap. It's 8/10. Let's go to it. So there you go, that's the view from inside the Honda of Nando Latenzio. As they complete another lap, the last lap around a 56.8 to Russell, a 55.5 to Latenzio. Same sort of pace for Ethan Kale as well. So Paul Russell just a little bit slower than these guys for whatever reason. Might just be adapting to the conditions a little bit more. Almost at the halfway mark. Car just not feeling as good as it did at the beginning. But this is the final two spots on the podium. You can see James Pierre Reid just in the background. He did a 55.7 on that last lap. So he's got similar pace to these two. As mentioned, it's a mandatory fuel stop, 44-minute pit window. And we've got just over 27.5 minutes of that window left as Latenzio goes up the inside. And he gets the job done. Nice work, Nando Latenzio. Oh, drifting the car through there, through Williams. Let's have a look at how he got this done. Going to go up the inside here. Yeah, Russell just runs a little bit deep. And that's all the invitation that Latenzio needed. And he sneaks through into P2. So Nando Latenzio is having himself a race up in silver class and outright P2. Having a great one so far. Back to Harvey and Fakeney. Harvey's still in 7th, Fakeney 8th. They're both chasing Susanna in the red Lamborghini. Go through Brundle one more time. Coming up close to the halfway mark of this one. This is round 5 of the Race on Oz PC season. Hope you're enjoying the action. Oh, Nathan Wilson's not enjoying the action. He's losing a spot there. Got a whole group of cars. He's dropped a few. See if I can catch what happened on the replay. Oh, and it's a bit of contact with Green. He's been in the wars tonight, Wilson, and last week as well. So not having a great run of it. He's had 2 DNFs this season. What's happened to Haycock? Looks like... no, and I've got yellow for... Oh, no! That's Wilson, and that's DNF number 3 for the season. So that's his night done. Lawrenson has made his way through. He has pitted, so he's going to go to the end. He's down there in P20 for now. So our championship leader down in P20, while his closest rival, Ethan Cale, is leading the race by 4.1 seconds. It's the gap between him and Nando Latenzio. Paul Russell third. James Pierre-Reid fourth. Van Vliet fifth. 33.5 minutes left. And if you haven't done so already, leave a like. Even better, leave a subscribe. We are getting close to 500 subscribers to this channel. So if you are watching and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps out the channel. And yeah, we're super close. It feels like we're only just at 400 not long ago. Great to get to 500 in the very near future. Plenty of action on the channel. We've got PC League, what we're watching tonight. We've got console. We've got Pan Am PC as well. Plenty of action to keep you occupied. Neil Fakeney is keeping the rear view mirror of Nathan Harvey occupied as well. This is for the final podium position in the silver class. 2 of the closest battles on the track right now. The other one is Hildebrandt and Masterson. They got Green in there as well. And looks like Hildebrandt able to get the move done on Masterson. So drops the Honda for Beyond Trophies. Back a spot. Herbertron. Oh, what's happened? Is he just going slow because he came out of the pits? That's not the pits though. What's happened? Herbertron, let's see. No, it is the pits. Maybe he was just letting cars through. My apologies. We'll just have to wait 10 seconds before this gets underway. Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was being very, very sensible and just letting everyone through. So my apologies for that. We'll get back to live pictures in a second. There we go. And we're watching Dominiak and James Mack. So go through Montreal. I want to say Canada every time I go through there because I'm like Montreal, Canada. Anyway. Cooley continuing to make progress as well. So he's up there in P12. So after getting caught up in that turn 1 action, turn 1 lap 1, trusted drivers panel automatically looks very closely at the opening lap of the race. So I dare say they will do that again. So he's going to continue to try and make pace and just latch onto the back of the Aston Martin belonging to John Stockton for Gamesman Racing Team. Currently sitting P11. So good result for him right now. We might just flick over to Dominiak and Mack, who are swapping positions right here. 13th and 14th. Dominiak's going to have to come a long way back. The left-hander of Brundle, named after the great Martin Brundle. Nelson, named after Lord Nelson. He's actually a Norfolk local. He was the area's most prominent figure who was in charge of a naval command who fought in the Napoleonic Wars. There you go, that's a little tidbit I bet you didn't think that you'd learn tonight. Anyway, these two guys would not care less about that. They're just caring about what's going on in front of them. Gap out in front, 3.7, 3.4. John Stockton, what happened? He's had a little bit of off there. That's out of turn 1. That's Andrew Green going into Montreal. He runs a little bit deep. Just got a little bit distracted. And Stockton maintaining P12 for now. Oh, a little bit of contact almost there from Green. He's going to try and fight back though here. The muscle scrap down here. Actually, Green is P21, so he's way back in the field. Looks like Stockton has managed to continue on anyway. We're tracking Neil Fakeney, so he's been tucked behind the BMW of Nathan Harvey. Just having a look at who has pitted so far. Terry Rayton, Andrew Lawrenson, Haycock, Atron and Green. They're the 5 drivers that have pitted, highlighted by the green box next to their number and name. So it gives you an idea of how that strategy is panning out for them right now. Gap out in front is at 3.3 seconds, I've got it at. 57.4 to Latanzio on that last lap. A 57.1 to Kale and a 57.1 to Russell. So the gap from Latanzio to Russell sitting at 2 seconds currently. And as we watch Fakeney just rearing up on the back of the BMW as they go through turn 1. Riches and then into Montreal here. Oh, Dominiak coming out of the pits because that's Mac, which is coming into the pits there. Sorry, pit entry. Let's get back to these two here. This is the closest battle on the circuit. We're over halfway now. I would expect to see some pit stops starting to filter through. We still have over 19 and a half minutes left in the pit window. And as mentioned, only 6 drivers so far have pitted. Andrew Lawrenson pitted almost as soon as the window opened. So he was one of the early adopters there. This is Rayton. He was also early to stop too. So this is 4th position with him and Masterson down there in 15th and 16th. And Lawrenson managing to squeeze through there as well past James Mack, who was coming out of the pit. So Lawrenson's up into P17 right now. Having a look at the statistics of the pit stops. It was very close last week. They were all a second the difference in stops last week. About 52, 53 seconds seems to be the par time around here. As mentioned, mandatory fuel, that is it. Pit window of 44 minutes. And this is Masterson that was having a look at Hildebrandt. This is 4th position. That bonnet just flapping in the breeze, but that's not going to stop Masterson from having a look. Ooh, gets all over the sausage curves out of Nelson. And that's going to open up the door for Terry Rayton, who don't need to give him a second chance. He will happily walk through. Biggest gainers out of all of this. 9 spots. Nathan Harvey, so started P16. Rayton dropped 13. Lawrenson 15. Cooley's managed to fight back. He did start in P5 as Dominiak and Masterson, they're coming into the pits. As these two continue on for another lap. Rayton won't be pitting again. He's all done. And the race is well and truly settled down now. We're going to go through the pit stop phase very shortly, I would assume. 17 and a half minutes left in the pit window. What have we got here? So Kale, Latanzio and Russell. Russell is all over the back of Latanzio. So this one snuck up on me a little bit here. Latanzio last lap around a 56.6, a 56.9 to Russell. So we'll see times they set on this lap across the line. A 59.2 to Latanzio, a 56.9 to Russell. So that gives us an idea of why this just crept up on us. As we're here with the this is with Russell. A slight adjustment on the steering wheel. All over the back of the Honda of Latanzio. They come out of Palmer into Agostini. What a famous name that is in all the motorsport. And looks like Latanzio's just managed to regain his composure a little bit. He's leader of the silver class. Susanna and Harvey still on the podium there. And it's Mac leading Atron and Green. Once again, we've got 3 AM drivers, so they're all going to be on the podium. They just need to finish. Mac is 16th outright, Herbertron 21st, and Green 22nd. That is how many cars we have left running. We have had a bit of an attrition rate this evening, as Latanzio just feathered the gap out a little bit now. It's at a second between he and Russell. Fakey hasn't been able to find a way past Harvey. Both of these cars yet to pit. You might think that might be the strategy that Fakey will decide to go with. Just having a look at lap times. It's a tenth of a second between them, so super close. And this might be a strategy for the pits rather than for on track. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out. Paul Russell, he comes into the pits, makes his stop, becomes stationary. As I said, about 53 seconds is the par time. He's been in there for 20 of them right now, so we'll keep an eye on his progress. We've kind of forgotten about Ethan Cale. He's just cruising. This is almost just like a test run for him this evening. All the carnage at the beginning has put him in good stead, and Fakey just wrestling that car, just managing to keep it facing the right way there. Closing right up underneath the rear wing of the 86 BMW, belonging to Nathan Harvey. Russell still in the pits. Oh, and he's done. So he was only in there for 38 seconds. Here we go, Fakey and Harvey. Finally, can Fakey get it done? Not quite. Felt like that was the closest that he came so far since watching. They go up the short chute into the left-hander of Hamilton. And then this is 6, the right-hander of Oggies. Sir Peter Ogden. Oh, and he loved to do exactly what Neil Fakey did there. He used to love drifting his Ferrari around there. This time it's a Lamborghini though. Usually it's style points but not pace points, but it looks like it worked in the opposite way for Fakey. It was fast and it looked good. And that's Huddy in there as well, so on debut he's yet to stop. So he's in there as well. Oh, that car looks like it's an absolute handful for Fakey at the moment. This is the view from on board. And we've seen him just absolutely wrestling with the rain. Continue to come down. It's not going anywhere. Seems like it's fully settled in. Track is at wet conditions. And these two are going to continue on another lap. That's Huddy in the background. You can see the lights of as they filter into turn 1. So where did you come out, Paul Russell? In P11 down there, and his stop was, as I mentioned, 38 seconds. So a belter of a stop. We'll see how the guys out in front respond. In the meantime, we're going to continue to watch these two go at it. Harvey and Fakey for 6th and 7th. This is for the final podium position of silver class. We've got Huddy just behind them. Cooley only a couple of seconds down the road from these two as well. So his recovery drive continues. And the gap between Lattanzio and Kale out in front, 6.3 seconds is the difference between those two. .56.6 the last lap done by Ethan Kale, a 57.8 by Lattanzio. Only a couple of drivers circulating in the 56 that last lap. James Pierre-Reid was the other one who joined Ethan Kale. Fakely running a little bit deep there through Brundle into Nelson. And here comes Reid, and that's James Mack as well. He's already made a stop, James Mack, so not too sure what he's doing in there, but there's Reid. So we'll keep an eye on the stopwatch there. 38 seconds was the pit stop time from Paul Russell. James Pierre-Reid already up to 22. And these two are coming in. So Fakeney and Huddy. And Nathan Harvey is going to continue on. So let's monitor that one as well. Oh, you get a little bit of a snap. Conditions extremely challenging this week. And where is Pierre-Reid? 31 seconds was his stop compared to 38 of Paul Russell. Who's that? That's, I don't know if that is, I don't think that's Lawrenson. No, it's not. That is Marsh. That was for position as well. Van Vliet. Oh, he's had an off. That's out of Hamilton into Oggies there, turn 6. Oh, he's trying to regather it up. He does. Alright, so I want to try and just keep an eye on Fakeney and Harvey. We'll see if Harvey decides to respond. Fakeney has gone all the way down to P12. Carlos Dominiak facing the wrong way. That's it, Nelson. Pretty easy to do around there. Let's see what happened to him here. Making his way through the entry, under the bridge. Ooh, that back end just stepping out in these wet conditions. Very, very tricky, challenging conditions for these drivers as we go back to live pictures. So Marsh, he's challenging Reid, but Reid just took that position recently. That's Paul Russell just up the road there as well. So Russell has pitted, so is James Pierre-Reid. And Marsh is the cork in between. He's yet to pit, so Reid and Russell separated. Oh, and Harvey is coming into the pits. I want to see where Neil Fakeney is. Who else was coming in? Was that Lawrenson? No, it wasn't. It must have been Marsh. It was. So Harvey is stopped. What about Neil Fakeney? I reckon he's going to do this. Oh, no. There goes Harvey. Fakeney just coming through onto the front straight now. Did he do it? Fakeney, Harvey. Fakeney. Oh, look at this. Look how close this is. Can Fakeney do it? He does. Nice work, Neil Fakeney. He went the undercut and he got it. Good work. Nice job, Neil Fakeney. He takes P10. Terry Rayton. Oh, no. Fakeney undoes all his good work almost. Ah, and he's back. All right. He would have had his heart in his mouth there for a moment, thinking, I've done all this hard work. I'm about to bloody throw it away. He doesn't. Great work to Neil Fakeney. So he now occupies P10. He's currently 4th in class. John Stockton is in front of him, but he needs to pit. So he, along with Kale, Lattanzio, Cesana, Van Vliet, and Cooley, they're all the other drivers that need to pit. This is good stuff. This is fun. Only a quarter of an hour to go. Where did the last 45 minutes fly by? Wow. This one, the end has come quick. Where's Andrew Lawrenson? He's down in 14th position. So we're going to see a change in championship leader if Ethan Kale is able to hold on here. last 15 minutes. Van Vliet and Susanna both making their way into the pits. So that will then leave 4 drivers remaining. Heidi's had a good debut here. Power Sim Sport 41 Audi in P12. Hopefully next week we can get his livery all sorted out. James Pierre Reid and Russell. So that's the gap between the two. 3.5 seconds. That's essentially net P2, P3. Look at Cooley. Worked his way all the way back up into P3. Obviously still needs to pit. Gap between he and Latenzio, 31 seconds. Oh, Neil Fakeney! What happened? All of that good work undone. That car looked like a real handful for a long time though. And it's finally bit him. Let's see how this came about. Is it into turn 1? Oh, on the back end just went on him. Oh, that's a real tough break for him in the final 15 minutes of this one. He's currently P11 right now. That's a pass for position as well. So that's Matthew Marsh slipping through there in the ICR 47 BMW, the laundry house coloured Beamer. Who else was I tracking? Oh yeah, that's right. So the podium for silver is Latenzio, who's sitting second outright, and then it's Susanna and Harvey, and then Paul Huddy, is sitting in 10th, 1.6 seconds behind Harvey. So could he snatch a podium on debut here at Race on Oz? We'll have to wait and see. Fakeney, a little bit of heartbreak for him. He'll be kicking himself. See what he can do in the remaining 12 and a half minutes of this one. Out in front though, it's been this man. He has been unchallenged. He's able to just skip away from the carnage that was lap 1, turn 1. And his last lap was a 57.5. Terry Rayton was a 57.5 as well, that last lap. A 57.2 to Lawrenson. But it's a little bit too far back, too big of a hill to climb for Lawrenson at this stage. But this guy, Ethan Cale, just put in the laps. And he's cruising. He is almost 10 seconds ahead of Nando Latenzio, who's sitting in P2, and he's got a 30-second gap between he and Cooley. So, Latenzio just gathers it up. That was through bomb hole there. So there's a little dip there, and he manages to keep that going all right. So he'll continue on. He's almost got a pit stop up his sleeve, the gap. The statistics of Pierre Reid did a 31-second pit stop. Russell 38. Susanna 26. Van Vliet 28. Yeah, so it's 28 to 31 seconds. Fakeney did a 27. Gives you a bit of an idea on stop. So Latenzio though has lost a bunch of time. And why is Ethan Cale in P2? What's happened here? He must have made his stop. Yeah, he did. There you go. So I did miss that. Goes up the inside of James Mack. A couple of Monster Energy cars there. Fakeney takes a little bit of revenge. He gets back up into P11. He's 4.6 seconds away from Huddy, who's 1.5 seconds away from Harvey. So Nathan Harvey having a cracking run. And this man on screen, Nando Latenzio, he's leading the race, yet to make his stop. He and Chris Cooley are the two remaining cars that need to fulfill their pit stop requirement. And they need to do it fast. They've got 2 minutes of the pit window remaining. And Latenzio is going to... Yeah, he's going to have to go in this lap. He can't push it any further. Doesn't look like he'd want to push it too much further than what he's done so far. Conditions treacherous. There's rained constantly throughout practice. For some of these guys who did the 10 hour of Imola during the weekend as well, rained for a big portion of it. Rained for 7 hours straight in the Pan Am 24-hour race a couple of weeks ago. And there we go. There's Lattanzio. And Cooley will need to be the next one. The pit window is closing in 1:10. So he does not have much longer left to get in there and complete his stop. Poor Russell. Oh, no. That is not what he wanted to happen. Let's see how he managed to get there on his own. And this is into Brundle. Oh, I just missed his braking marker potentially. And I think Cooley's into the pits. We're going to go to live pictures right now. And there he is. So James Pierre-Reid moves up into P3 of the race with 8.5 minutes left. It's Ethan Cale from Nando Lattanzio and James Pierre-Reid. That's our podium. What a cracker. The rain, the great equaliser. Ethan Cale managed to get through lap 1, turn 1 unscathed. Dare say the TDP will take a pretty good look at that this week. And this is Martin Lawrenson. So this is our current championship leader for about another 8 minutes.
Pit window is now closed.
And there we go. Pit window is now closed. All cars made their stops. So no penalties will be handed out there. And these two doing battle. Martian Lawrenson down there in 12th and 13th. Lawrenson just trying to get as many points as he possibly can, recoup them after being caught up. He and Lawrenson came together, and we'll leave it for the TDP to sort out as John Stockton just getting a little bit agricultural there out of turn 1 into Montreal hairpin. As Lawrenson managing to get past Marsh, so he takes up into P12. We're 7 minutes away from this one being all sorted. AM class. It's Atron, Green and Mac. That's your podium for those guys. And then Lattanzio, Cesana and Harvey. That's your podium for silver class. Lattanzio is second outright. And Huddy is 1.6 seconds still behind Harvey. Good result for Huddy on debut. A top 10 finish and almost taking a podium on debut. Not a bad start at all. This is Lawrenson just rearing up on the back of the Lamborghini belonging to Neil Fakeney. To make their way down the front straight one more time tonight, down into turn 1. Fakeney put in all the hard yards that came undone with that little mistake a little while ago. Lawrenson getting on the grass. That's a brave man. Go through turn 2. This is 4th position. What happened to the Masterson? Not a yellow flag next to his name, but oi! It's out of Murray's, and that is not going to make the last 5 minutes very pleasant for him. Let's get back to Lawrenson and Fakeney, looking from the rear of the Lamborghini, belonging to the Ignition Controls Racing driver, number 9, in P11. Trying to keep Andrew Lawrenson behind him. That's going to be no easy feat. Into the final 5 minutes now. one looking like it's going to just peter out a little bit. So plenty of gaps throughout the field, down to 22. Still a good, strong number to finish on. Nothing to be sneezed at. Morrison trying to make Fakeney earn it here. Alright. There we go. And he heads past. So Lawrenson able to take another spot away. So he moves up into P11 in the closing stages of this one. 4 minutes remaining, and Huddy has made up a lot of ground on Harvey here. So this is for the final silver podium position. Maybe that pressure's just getting a little bit to Harvey. But you can see he's less than 4 minutes away from a podium in silver class. Just trying to see if I've got his previous results here. I don't think I do. He's not in the top 10 of the championship. That's all I've got at the moment. So this is going to be a great result for Nathan Harvey. If he can hold on. Paul Huddy, though, is going to try and push him all the way. Here's the view from Huddy. Oh, and that's not going to help him, but it's going to help Harvey. They go through Williams. Very famous name in British and world motorsport. Go under the bridge again. So 2 minutes 40 left in this one. It's Ethan Cale currently leading the way. 14.5 seconds is the gap between he and Latanzio. James Pierre Reid in P3. So if he can hang on another 2.5 minutes, he'll take home a very well-deserved P3. He finished 4th last week. What else? I don't think he raced the week before that. Yeah, he didn't, and then a 5th and a 9th. So still be a nice little notch on the belt for James Pierre Reid as Huddy continues to hunt Harvey down. Probably only got another couple of laps to try and get something done. He's as close as he's been for a while. 0.7 of a second to the back of that Audi. Just wanting to step out in these wet conditions. We've seen a lot of cars like that tonight. Been very, very difficult. Very challenging conditions the wet weather's brought. Typical English weather. And yeah, it's been pouring. Who else? Paul Russell had that little mistake not too long ago that's probably cost him a shot, fair to say, at the podium. He's in 4th. Susanna. So this is 2nd in silver, 5th outright. That's a great result for the Beyond Trophies racing driver. Van Vliet wasn't here last week, so back with a vengeance up in P6, putting in a really good result. Terry Rayton in 7th, so he got caught up in that lap 1, turn 1.
The final lap now. Give it all you can.
And there it is. There's the call for final lap. This is Cooley. He's currently sitting P8 for now. Nathan Harvey, Huddy, and Lawrenson. So can he catch these other two down before he gets the checkered flag? Have to wait and see how this one pans out. But Ethan Cale making his way through Palmer for the final time this evening. Hasn't had any issues. He was able to sneak through, didn't get caught up in any of the lap 1, turn 1 drama. Susanna just trying to make up ground on Paul Russell, so it's less than a second between those two. Russell had a very slow lap on the last one around, a 2-minute 1, almost a 2-minute 2. So he found himself run into a little bit of trouble. Terry Rayton as well, so there's a few scraps for the final positions going on right now. Keep an eye on Ethan Cale, make sure I get him as he crosses the finish line. But Susanna and Russell, they're still duking it out. Rayton and Van Vliet And then Lawrenson trying to just sneak past Huddy here at the end. But they've all been chasing one man and one man only, and that man is Ethan Cale. So he's just got a couple of more turns to navigate, and he's going to take home another podium position, another victory. It'll be victory number 2. Podium number 5. He hasn't finished any lower than P3. And Ethan Cale, congratulations. He's going to take out race victory round number 5. Congratulations. Flashing the lights as he crosses the line. Well done to Ethan Cale. He is our round 5 winner. Nando Latenzio, 14 odd seconds down the road. So he's got a fair bit of his lap still to complete. And Rayton manages to get past Van Vliet right at the in the dying stages. Clock's gone 000. And he's able to sneak his Ferrari for Selby Acoustics up into 6th position. James Pierre Reid takes home P3. Latenzio in P2. Congratulations. Paul Russell, he's going to take home a well-deserved P4. Well done to him. There he goes. Susanna in 5th. Rayton, he's going to come home in 6th position. 7th is going to belong to Cooley. So great recovery for him. Oh no, he's going to finish P8, sliding across the line there. Nathan Harvey, he's going to take out the final podium position for Silver Class, flashing the lights, and right well he should. Congratulations, Nathan Harvey in Silver Class. Paul Huddy, he takes out a top 10 on debut. Lawrenson finishes in 11th position after being all the way down at the rear of the field after turn 1. John Stockton, he's still coming home. He's going to finish there in P14. Apologies about delivery again this week. John Stockton will try and get that sorted out for you next week. But he's going to be one of the final few cars on the leading lap to come home. He crosses the line to take home P10, 14. Jumping all over the place. Wally Masterson, he's one of the final ones to come home as well. But it was this man here, Ethan Cale. He was able to keep his nose clean. He was at the front of the pack, which means that he was able to avoid all of the carnage that was lap 1, turn 1. It's the final cars make their way across the line. But congratulations to him. In terms of the AM, it was Herbertron and Green were the only 2 AM drivers to finish, so we didn't even fill out the podium there. And it was Latenzio, Susanna and Harvey for Silver Class. That was the podium for them as well. But overall, it was Ethan Cale who took out race victory number 2 of the last 3. And that is where the race has finished. And that is where we are going to wrap things up. So congratulations to everyone. That's round 5 in the books. Next week, we are going to do it all over again, but we are going to be at the Nürburgring. We're doing the 2-hour enduro format. It's back. I'm going to start a little bit earlier next week as well. So hopefully we get some nicer weather than what we got tonight. We'll have to wait and see. But until then, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the people in the chat as well. Awesome to have you on board and participating in there as well. So it's great to see some familiar faces in there too. And yeah, thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. Look after yourself. Look after each other. My name's Nick, and I'll see you next week for round 6, the Nürburgring 2-hour enduro.